Hi everybody, we're all in search of the elusive non-stick pan that's really non-stick without a ton of oil, and lately people are really concerned about that PFOS, PFOE, and other Teflon related lifelong chemicals that people are concerned about leaching into their food. Well, this company claims to have a pan that eliminates all that and adds the incredible non-stick features that you're looking for. We'll go ahead and take a look, do a review, a lot of testing you're not going to see anywhere else on YouTube with these pans, and we're going to talk about it right now. Now, in 1987, a company called MSMK was actually just an R&D center, and that was based here in the United States. The goal was to do R&D on high-end cookware, but bring in an affordable cost to the consumer, something that really hadn't been seen at all in this industry. Most really low-cost pans are ones that were not overly expensive, were very low quality. The non-stick on the pans would come off, they would scratch easily, and so MSMK set out to come out with a set of kitchenware that was high-end and had not quite entered the pan industry yet. Roll the clock forward, and in 1999, they established their first factory in China. Now, I know you're saying, oh, here we go, it's a Chinese pan. Well, let me tell you something. Most everything is made in China, and if you want to spend a lot of money, you can get some really good things in China. Pans, knives, other kitchen equipment, most of it's all done in China. You can also get really cheap stuff in China. It all depends on what the company that's sending the items to China wants to do as far as quality. The higher the quality, the more it's going to cost. The lower quality, the lower the cost. I think these pans may be onto something. Now, roll the clock forward again. In 2009, MSMK invested $30 million to bring the brand MSMK to market, taking it out of a research and development center and actually making it a brand that's going to go to the consumers directly. And roll the clock forward again in 2019, their kitchen items and kitchenware sold over 7 million units. That's a lot of units. And in 2020, they wanted to bring their brand to the US market, including the nonstick cookware. Now, nonstick cookware is very controversial. We have issues with the coating coming off. We have issues with companies saying it's nonstick and not really disclosing that it's Teflon. It's made with what they call forever chemicals, PFOE, PFOA, PFOS, and other things. And so in order to bring this to the market as a safe product, they submitted this to multiple agencies in the US, the US FDA, the TÜV of Germany, and the DERK of Europe. Now, these regulatory agencies look at all of the items that are being submitted to go out to the food consumer market and to make sure they're actually safe for use or for consumption. In this case, in the US, we're talking about the US FDA, and these pans actually passed their testing. And in 2021, MSMK launched their actual line of these nonstick pans with these certifications to the consumer market. Now, I'm going to get into the details of this pan. I thought you'd like the history. I try to make my reviews very inclusive, not just, here's a nonstick pan, I'm going to fry up something, and then, oh, it works well. We're going to get into the details of this pan. We've got some incredible features I really like compared to other pans. I've tested a lot of nonstick cookware. For those of you that know me and watch my videos, I have been using a different company's pan for the past 9 years that I really like, and I've tested other nonstick pans. I have reviews on those as well that didn't really fare so well in some of the areas such as the heat test, the handles burning you, steam coming out, and all sorts of other issues. So make sure you look at those other videos as well. But today, MSMK has sent me this set because they saw my videos and said, hey, we really like you. We like your reviews. They're fair, they're honest, and we're good with you testing these pans. So I said, great. So thank you, MSMK, for sending me this beautiful set. It actually really is a very nice looking set. And we're going to start out with a couple features, and then we're going to go on to the testing for the various components that I looked at. And then I'm going to go ahead and cook something that is the bane of the existence of everybody that has a nonstick pan. Yes, the actual fried egg. So first up, I want to talk about something that has been a real craw on my side with pan sets. When you get pan sets, they come with lids. A lot of them ship with every single lid on every single pan. It's too much. It takes up way too much space. Why can't you make pots and pans that have similar dimensions, but for different uses that the lids can actually exchange on? And MSMK did that because you could take one of these lids and you could put it on a frying pan. So you have one lid for two pans. I really like that. For some of the bigger pans, you can switch over and you can go to your frying pan as far as your saute pan is concerned, and you use the same lid for that. So I like the fact they thought that out. You don't need to include all those lids because most people aren't going to use lids on everything when they're cooking. And certainly when you're using a frying pan for the most part, you're not going to use a lid on it. You might at some point, but a lot of times I never do. But I do use lids on my saute pans and a lot of my other cooking pots. The one thing that was great about these pans when I got them out of the box was I noticed that they actually have weight to them. They're not light, cheap pans that you get like at Target and other big retailers. These are really super solid pans. They're actually very thick. You can see here the diameter of the pan or the actual thickness here. And the other thing that's really nice is the coating. Now, we're going to talk about this coating because this is something that's very special and very unique that I have not seen in other coated pans. Now, they may be out there. There's a lot of pans on the market, but the ones that I've looked at and researched and looked into what was made for the coatings all pretty much contain Teflon. This product does not contain Teflon. It is a proprietary, patented German product. It is water-based, which is actually very interesting, and it contains no PFOA, no PFOS, no forever chemicals. And in addition to that, it is a titanium and diamond blend. So if you look at this, you can actually see the diamonds reflecting off this pan, and these have an iridescence to them, like a sparkle. And that's, I assume, the fine diamond dust that's used in this with the titanium blended compound. Now, the other thing I noticed is that this is supposed to be scratch resistant. When I did this, because diamonds, I'm scratching my nails, I'm not actually scratching the pan, but I can go and wash this and it comes out. So if you see a little bit of wear marks on it, that's normal. I wouldn't really be concerned about it. But MSMK did tell me you should use the silicone utensils or wooden utensils and not use metal utensils, just because this is a coating and you don't want this to ever come off. Now, by doing that, this pan is supposed to last 20 years and it comes with a 10-year warranty. Pretty impressive for a nonstick pan in this price range. The other thing about these pans, it's really great for you that have induction cooktops, and I am an absolutely anti-induction cooktop cook because I'll tell you why. I just don't like electric. I love gas. I've cooked on it forever. I actually made sure in my new house here, I've got a gas stove that I bought and put in. I really like the gas. I like the control it gives you. A lot of my friends have them, say they work just fine. They can control the temperature. But the big thing about it is everyone I've seen, their tops are scratched up like crazy. And that's because they use different pans that are not perfectly smooth. And when they move across that glass, they scratch it up so they absolutely look horrible a year or 2 years later down the road. Have you experienced that with your induction cooktop? Drop a comment down below and let me know if you have a scratch cooktop. This might be the solution. I don't have an induction cooktop, but check this out. Perfectly smooth on the back aluminum. It's polished. It is absolutely smooth. You can feel I can feel a tiny bit on this etched logo, tiny bit. But they say this does not scratch the cooktops. Now, I'm sure if you took anything and really pushed on it and jammed it hard around, maybe you can scratch it. But this is for common use, people. And a lot of people don't use common sense when they're cooking. I've seen a lot of people claim that something broke or something was bad, and it was just abuse by the user. So under normal use, you take this and you put this on your induction and you move back and forth. They say you should not scratch your glass induction cooktop. So this is something for you induction people you may want to take a look at. The other thing that's really great is the handles on these things. Again, this is a solid pan. I mean, this is not thin by any means. It's got concentric circles on the inside with the underlayment being the aluminum down here, but it's actually coated. It goes through the concentric circles and comes out, and they do the coating on the top with the titanium and the diamond compound, which looks really nice. It's really even. I see no imperfections at all in the pan whatsoever. They all came scratch-free. But when it comes to the other features, let's talk about the handle. Now the handle, MSMK has a really nice engraved handle. I like that. And these are kind of a stay cool handle design that I like. These are riveted onto the pan. They're not screwed in. You can see these here. Okay, really nice. And they are really tight. None of these came loose. These things are on here rock solid. And when I look at the seam, which is this joint right here, okay, you can see that. On a lot of other nonsticks I've seen at other places, there's a little gap. Sometimes there's a little movement on there. That's because they're just done cheaply. These are done really, really well. Additionally, the pans that I have used before are polished. And they look great until you touch them and grab them. And then you see fingerprints all over them. I'm type A. It drives me crazy. So I'm always taking a rag as I'm working. I got to wipe this off, make sure it's nice and clean. I just hate fingerprints everywhere. It's weird, I know, but what can I say? We're all a little weird, aren't we? Now, this handle is a brushed, okay? It's a brushed handle, which is great because it has a little bit of texture, just enough so when you hold on to it, you really get a nice grip, you don't slip. And the other thing is I think, and we're gonna do a test, these handles will stay pretty cool because the way this is designed, you've got your heat dissipation forks right here, and it comes into the handle. Now this handle, I don't know if it's, I think it might be hollow, but if it is, it's really thick aluminum. And it also has a nice hook. So if you like to hang things in your kitchen from the ceiling hooks or from your wall, turn it around, have a nice view there. Really nice handle. I like that a lot. And finally, when it comes to this pan, I want to make sure that this really is a true nonstick, which to me the test is, do you have to add a lot of butter or oil to get it to nonstick, or can you put something in the pan and just use it without using butter or oil? Now, I always use butter and oil because I like the flavor, but I sometimes have to use a lot more in some pans because to get that nonstick, you really need to get that fat component in there to allow the food to actually release off the surface. So we're gonna go ahead and take these, we're gonna go ahead and season them up, and we're gonna go ahead and do a cook. But one more thing before we do that, and that's the lids. These lids are absolutely great. I cannot stand companies that ship lids with these solid aluminum domes. They're horrible, they're thin. I did a review recently, take a look. In my videos, you'll see it, where one of the lids was, it's so polished in aluminum, as soon as you touch it like that, it looks horrible. There's fingerprints all over it. And what I like about this is it's glass. And I think solid glass is a great top. It's the only top I think people should use is a glass top. It is really placed in with a nice bevel on this that fits in the pan perfectly every time. You don't have to have exactly on it. You can take it even if you're off a little bit. It just slides right in, which I actually like a lot. The other thing is you have the vent hole. Very, very important to have a vent hole. Otherwise, you will get a soupy mess when all of the condensation gets underneath your pan and it drips into your food. So I don't use any lids at all that don't have a ventilation hole. The other thing about this is it has, again, I think these are kind of stay cool handles. They are brushed, which I like. They're not polished, so they don't get really dirty with fingerprints, and they have a nice grip, so when you hold on to them, you know, it's got a nice feel to it, and you don't have to worry about that slipping out of your hands. So I think they're really well made. They're really heavy, and they're almost identical to some other really expensive pans that I've been using, and I think they did a great job at this. So let's talk about the nonstick. To get started, we're gonna go ahead and season the pan. Now people say, do you have to really season a nonstick pan? I think you should season every pan. There's a couple reasons that you should do it, but the main reason is we wanna make sure this is washed really well. We're gonna season it with some oil. I use avocado oil because it's a high heat oil. And the one thing we didn't mention about heat is these pans are certified up to not 450, not 500 or 550, not 600, 700 degrees. Now that is absolutely fantastic. That is a big plus for me. I do a lot of cooking at high heat temperatures. I have a wood fire oven where the temperatures at the actual fire are close to 1,000, but I'm hitting around 650, 675, maybe even 700 sometimes in that at the back of the oven where I'm cooking. So that'll be great to use down the road. I'll do another video of that when I'm cooking high heat. I've got an infrared gun and we're gonna check the temps and see how hot we can get this thing. But to season it, we wanna start on low to medium heat. We're gonna use avocado oil. We're gonna wash our pan and I'm gonna show you how we do the seasoning. Now to season our pan, we're gonna take some avocado oil and I'm just gonna give it a little misting. That's it. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to add tons of oil, just a little bit of a spritz. That's all you need. And make sure you have a little paper towel handy. We're gonna put this on and we'll let it sit for about 5 minutes to see where we're at. I put it on and we're already at 128 degrees on there, 128 degrees, and we can see that okay. So we're gonna do this and let this pan go. We're gonna see how hot this gets over the next 5 minutes, and we're gonna check out the temperature on how even it is. Now, I do expect, because this is a stay cool handle, what's gonna happen is the heat will dissipate through here. This is a really well-designed pan that I like. So we're gonna go ahead and start the heat testing. We're gonna check this out and see that oil is starting to beat up, which is great. And you can see we don't have a lot of it. It's not really running that much, just a little bit from the spraying. We're gonna leave that in there, and then we're gonna test this pan and see how hot it gets and how even it is across the entire surface. We're gonna go on the edges, and we're gonna check both the forks on this handle and the handle itself to see what the temperature is. And then you'll be able to determine what you think about the pans when it comes to heat distribution and the handles and, of course, the seasoning process. So we leave that on. If you can notice, there's no smoke at all. I mean, that's pretty hot right now. I mean, I can't keep my hand down past there. It's really hot. I'm not touching it. About maybe 1.5 inches above the pan. It's pretty hot. We'll test the center, and the center core is 373. See, 374. It's going to raise quickly. Check the outer edge here, we're at 393. And over here, we're at 397. Pretty even, pretty even. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, this pan's performing. They said it heats up 20% quicker than other pans. Now this is impressive because they said it heats up 20% faster than other pans. And I can tell you, I don't have another pan I'm going to compare today, but this heats up fast. It definitely is as fast, if not faster, than one of my other high-end pans that I use. We're done with this. We're going to go ahead and, it's seasoned now, and we're going to go ahead and wipe this out. That's all you got to do. And this pan's really hot, so make sure you don't touch the pan, okay? And that's it. You just wipe it out, and that's it. You have an absolutely fantastically seasoned pan. And we're gonna go ahead and cook on it and see how it does. Okay, let's see if we get this baby to stick or not stick. No oil at all in this pan. It's been seasoned, that's it. Let's give it a shot, see how we go. Okay, eggs in. Hopefully you can see that okay. I got some close-up shots I'll be putting in here. I'm not gonna touch it. Not gonna touch it. I'm gonna wait till that egg yolk, okay, gets white on the perimeter. Doesn't get all the way cooked because we're gonna flip it over and see if this thing will release and is really non-stick. So it's setting up here. I'm getting that nice little bit of that wispy smoke, which is good because that means that the water is evaporating off of here. And it's probably about just getting to really, I can actually see the edges. I can see the edges curling up a little bit. It's actually releasing. It's releasing really well, actually. Let's see. Oh, yep, here we go. Check this out. Looks like it's all released. Oh, amazing. Look at this. Look at this egg sliding, folks. That is really cool. It really is non-stick. No butter or oil in that. How about that? We'll go ahead and flip it over, and our egg is definitely cooked. Oh, just do a flip. How about just flip? Let's do a flip. Ready? Ho! Egg flip. Did you like that? We're gonna let that set up now, and then it should release on this side, which is the yolk side. Again, don't touch it. People like to touch their food while it's cooking and moving around, and they like to play with it and do this stuff. Don't touch it. Just let it rest. And then after it's rested, it'll release, and you can actually eat it and have a delicious egg. Okay, so it looks like it's releasing as well. I can tell because you have these little crispy edges that kind of fold up, and it releases. So release, let's see, yeah, okay. Let's check this out. Did I get any stickage on the yolk? Maybe, let's see. Let's see, I just want to be careful. And then, oh, let's see, here we go. Here we go. Oh, sliding around, look at that. Okay, let's get it on our plate and see. How do we do? Turn off the fire so we don't burn ourselves. And now my favorite part, the truffle sea salt. Okay, here we go. Let's try this. Let's see how this yolk is on both sides. It looks good on both sides. Let's do it. Let's flip it over again. Now let's see. Oh, look at that yolk. Look at that yolk. Absolutely perfectly cooked. I love the yolk. Do you like the yolk? Truffle sea salt and eggs are absolutely fantastic. That's how you should be able to hold the egg like that. The support on the membrane, but you got the yolk in the middle. That's delicious. Okay, now that our pan is done, it's still hot. We've got, call it residue. It really didn't stick. Okay, a little bit there. And they said you just take a paper towel and you wipe it out like that. I'll be damned. Look at that. Pretty impressive. So now let's go on to the heat test for the handle and see how hot this sucker really gets. Okay, next we're doing the heat test. I got this sucker cranked up to high. That flame is raging down here. So we got it on high. We're gonna let this sit and we're gonna see what temperature this gets to. Now these pans are guaranteed to be up to 700 degrees, and that is hotter than you're ever probably gonna use. But let's test and see how hot we can get this thing. 600, so we're right around like pushing 600, getting up there. And I have some incredible, oh God, I smoked this tri-tip, it's so good. And it's cold, so I'm gonna actually, oh, I got a nice fatty piece on here. This should sear the heck out of this. This is actually like a medium rare piece right here, okay? Woo, we're over 600, here we go, ready? Okay, I get a nice sizzle going. See the smoke? It's absolutely delicious. Oh, look at that. Oh man, wait to see this piece of meat. It's looking really good. This is looking absolutely fantastic. Ready for this? Here we go. The best thing about these videos, I just can eat. Oh my God, it's so good. Now smoke. Oh. And now we're gonna check the temperature of this handle that's been ripping hot now for this whole test in this video. We're gonna go down to the forks, and at the fork we're at 108, 109 degrees, right down here. I'm not gonna touch it. That's hot, but yeah, it's pretty hot right there at the base, but you don't grab it there. The handle itself, I'm able to hold on to. Now I can feel the warmth here. Let's see how hot it is right down here. We're going about halfway down the handle. And we're at about 87.6 degrees. And you can see I can put my finger on it. It's warm, but almost 90, but it's nowhere near scalding. And then we'll go down towards the back of the handle where you're holding it, right on the logo of the MSMK, 87.4 degrees. And we'll go to the tip, right up here. $84.6 degrees. So it is a stay cool handle for sure. If you hold it back here, if you're gonna go up here, I would suggest you actually have a glove, a mitt, or some people slide a silicone on it. But if you're careful and you hold it back here, even if I go up a little bit, it's warm up here for sure, but it's not burning. So I gotta tell you, totally passes, I think, the heat test. It's not gonna have a problem. And it definitely is pulling the heat off this pan, which is normal with this fork design. But this pan, and look at this. I had that meat in there searing like crazy. I don't know if you can see it. There's hardly anything in here. It's probably just from the little bit of liquid that was on the tri-tip that caramelized. And we'll just do this, wipe it off. Oh yeah, look at that. That's from the tri-tip, from the sear. There we go, wipe it off. And I also had, it's also been seasoned, so remember, if you get up around 600, you're gonna start burning your oils, which you don't wanna do. This was seasoned though, so there really wasn't a lot of oil in there. It's like brand new. Absolutely fantastic. I am super impressed. Now remember, on the heat test we did with this handle, this pan was over 600 degrees. You're not gonna use it that hot in the kitchen. I did that test merely to see how hot this handle got, because other handles I've tested in my other videos were so hot, you absolutely cannot touch this or you'd burn yourself. This took the heat, again, over 600 degrees. It was pretty hot right here, as to be expected, but the fact I could still hold onto the handle comfortably and not have any type of discomfort or a burn is pretty damn amazing. And I gotta tell you something, these pans are really impressive. Now, I'm not getting paid for this at all. This is my review. I've been looking for a nonstick pan for a long time, actually, that met all the needs that this pan meets, and I've not been able to find it until now. Fortunately, MSMK found me and asked me if I could demo these and see what I thought. They do cook evenly. They have good heat dissipation. They heat up really fast. This is a nonstick service, I gotta tell you, it really is nonstick. You saw it yourself. I've seen people do other comparisons of other pans and say, oh, you have to put a little bit of butter, a little bit of oil. I'm gonna do it anyway because I like that with my food, but you don't really have to. And what I'd recommend is, I would probably use this pan and use it again and again and paper towel it out. When I go to wash it, scrub it good, I would re-season it again. Take the 2-3 minutes, re-season it, but then wipe it out. I honestly don't know if you ever would really need oil or butter in this, except by choice. If you did that process and kept the pan clean and you seasoned it, every multiple uses. Certainly with the butter and oil, it's gonna be absolutely nonstick. Without a question, anything you put on it. I seared my meat on here. When I sear that on my other pans and I hold it down there and try to take it off, it'll leave some residue marks. It might take a little bit of that meat off. This did not at all. It slid around. The egg worked beautifully. And I gotta tell you, these are definitely gonna be a keeper. And I'm gonna put these in rotation in my kitchen. I do have an Amazon store. I only put things in there that I use and I believe and I trust. And I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna add these to my store. So if you wanna get them, go to the Amazon store. The link's down below. Check it out. Get yourself a set. I'm not making any money off MSMK. It's just the, I get a couple pennies per sale. But that's not the real goal of the Amazon store. It's so that you can go to things that you can trust that I reviewed. You can say, I know Ukulele Jay from Ukulele Jay BBQ uses this. He reviewed it. And you can trust the fact that I'm telling you exactly how it is. These pans are absolutely fantastic. And I'll probably be doing a cooking video on these pans down the road. But for now, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I hope you like and subscribe to my channel. I am the only channel that's going to tell you the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God, because I think it's important you know what the real deal is without somebody having motivation to sell stuff because the company's paying them to do the video. And that's not the case here. The other thing that I really think is cool about these pans is the fact they are chemical free. It's a water-based, patented German coating that is a diamond and titanium blend. A buddy of mine, I was talking to him the other day, and his wife is a biochemist. So, God, you mention anything about nonstick pans, and you're going to hear an earful from her. But I don't now, because this doesn't have all the stuff she says that's in these pans that's really bad for your health, especially people that have children they're raising, small babies. They're really concerned about the off-gassing from the PFOA, the PFOE, the PFOS, the Teflon. But you don't have to worry about that with these pans because MSMK certifies, and so does the US FDA, that these are free from those forever chemicals. Hope you like this review. Please drop a comment. Let me know what you'd like to see next, and we'll see you on the next one. Smoke on, baby.